Chapter 1. The Twin on the Farm. On the wide farmlands of Nebraska, Emily Carter lived a simple life. She loved the smell of fresh hay, the morning sunrise, and the soft clucking of chickens in the barn. Emily was quiet, kind, and content with her peaceful world. But her quietness often drew the wrong kind of attention. At school, a group of local bullies noticed her shyness and made her a target. They mocked her boots, her braids, and the way she carried herself. Farm doll, they called her, laughing as she tried to ignore them. Emily bore it silently. But what they didn't know was that she wasn't alone in this world. She had a twin sister, one who had left the farm years ago and chosen a different path. Her name was Evelyn Carter. Unlike Emily, Evelyn had fire in her veins. From a young age, she was determined, fearless, and unyielding. After high school, she enlisted in the army. Not long after, her skills, discipline, and sheer grit propelled her into one of the most elite units in the world, Delta Force. There, she built a reputation as a legend, a soldier who could outlast storms, fight impossible battles, and never break. Emily rarely spoke of her twin. She didn't want others to respect her because of Evelyn's name, she wanted to be seen for herself. But fate had other plans. One autumn afternoon, Emily was walking home from school across a quiet dirt road. That's when the bullies came again. They shoved her books to the ground, taunting her. This time, they went further, blocking her path, circling her like wolves. "You gonna cry, farm doll?" One sneered. Another pushed her shoulder roughly. Emily's eyes filled with tears, but she held her ground. She didn't want to call Evelyn. She wanted to prove she could handle herself. But when one of them yanked her braids so hard it brought her to her knees, she realized this wasn't just teasing anymore. It was cruelty. With trembling hands, she pulled out her phone. Not for her parents. Not for the sheriff. But for her twin. It rang once. Twice. Then a calm, steady voice answered. What's wrong?" Through tears, Emily whispered. "Evie, I need you." On the other end of the line, Evelyn's eyes hardened. "Where are you?" That night, the bullies would discover who they had really messed with. Chapter 2. The Delta Force Legend. Evelyn arrived the next evening, her pickup roaring down the dirt road. She had just returned from deployment overseas, her body still carrying the weight of battles she couldn't even speak about. But nothing mattered more than her twin. When she saw Emily, her braid messy and her cheeks still stained with tears, something inside Evelyn snapped. Not with rage, but with resolve. "Show me who," she said quietly. Emily hesitated, then pointed out the names. Evelyn nodded once. That night, Evelyn didn't storm into their houses. She didn't make a scene. Instead, she waited, because she knew the bullies would strike again. And when they did, she'd be ready. 2 days later, in the schoolyard, the bullies cornered Emily once more. "Back for more, farm doll," they jeered. But this time, Emily wasn't alone. From behind the bleachers, Evelyn stepped out. Dressed in jeans and a worn jacket, she looked like any other farm girl, until her eyes met theirs. Cold, calculated, powerful. The bullies laughed nervously. "Who's this? Another farm princess?" Evelyn's lips curved into the faintest smile. "Something like that." One boy stepped forward, trying to shove her shoulder. In less than a second, Evelyn had twisted his arm behind his back, forcing him to the ground without even breaking a sweat. The others froze, their laughter dying in their throats. "You think picking on someone smaller makes you strong?" Evelyn's voice was low but razor sharp. Strength isn't in cruelty. It's in control. She released the boy, who scrambled backward, wide-eyed. Another tried to mutter a comeback, but Evelyn stepped closer, her presence alone enough to silence him. You don't know who you're dealing with, she continued. But I'll tell you this. If you ever touch my sister again, you'll wish the worst thing that happened to you was facing me here. The bullies fled, their arrogance shattered. Emily stared at her twin, eyes wide. You didn't hurt them. Evelyn knelt, brushing her sister's hair gently. I didn't need to. Fear isn't about what you do, it's about who you are. And you, you're stronger than you think. You just needed to see it. From that day on, the bullies never bothered Emily again. Not because they were afraid of Evelyn, but because they realized Emily wasn't alone, and she wasn't weak.